Okay, what's up, my people? How are you? Don Bernard here. Yes, I know it's been a super long time since I've done a video. I was compelled today, and actually over the last few days, since the Zimmerman trial has come to a conclusion as to finding him guilty or not guilty. Of course, we know people found him not guilty, the jury, and the reaction and what I can feel from that reaction. And over the last few days, I've been kind of just thinking about how I wanted to respond to it as I had to process it myself and how I felt about it. And it's easy to respond from just emotion and your thoughts, but I like to try to respond from listening to that inner space, that inner voice. When I get that calling from, whether you call it source energy, inner voice, God, whatever you want to call it. But I like to get quiet and wait for those inspired thoughts and emotions to come to me instead of just reacting, which is natural to do at first. I think it's healthy because initially you need to ventilate, and the ventilation allows you to get to a space of calm so that the resolve can start to flow through more properly. And I hear the voices in that stillness of receiving and listening of my not previous, but still a part of my life. But I used to really follow Baba, Dr. Pillai, a lot more diligently, and also Abraham, who I take a lot of interest in their messages. And the one thing I remember Baba told me was, how everything starts from the inside out, not the outside in. Okay. And I think it's good at times like this to start at a general place of just a base understanding, and then to see how that understanding relates to whatever issue you have at hand. So understanding that everything is from the inside out. And Abraham relayed a similar message in terms of how do you change your reality. You don't do it by pushing against unwanted things that are already manifested, but rather you go into that vibrational vortex, that energetic space, and from there you are able to shift a new reality. So I think about Travyon's case and how in this scenario everyone's pushing then against Zimmerman in the trial. These are the manifested things, the unwanted manifested things. And how I think on a certain level you can find change in a sense pushing against, because we've seen it. We've seen in the civil rights movement people pushing against and then getting what they want. And so that's kind of how we know how to do things. But that's also, in a sense, the pseudo way of being able to truly express and things flow more smoothly into your experience. And so understanding what is the law of attraction really? What is it? It is that inside out phenomena. And we all need to come to a place of understanding that, just on a very simple level of how it works. How does it really work? Whether it's a relationship you're looking to create into your life, whether it's some form of peace that you're looking to create in your life, what do? And what I've come to understand and need to be reminded of myself sometimes is that place within me that I can always go and start to harness a reality. I can start to harness something I want to see from the outside. But that harnessing comes from here. It comes from this inner space. And whether it's a writing down of a feeling over and over again, whether it's a meditation upon a thought that will bring me into a state of bliss. All of these things are just ways, techniques that can help me get to that place, to seeing it as an outer reality. And so when I look at this case, everybody initially is doing that, ventilating, reacting. That's fine. But then we want to get to a place of, all right, what's the solution for me? Even on an individual basis, because that's really how things change, on an individual basis. And then from there, you can affect the masses. So I say, all right, what's something this case makes people feel? It makes people feel unsafe for their children. That's the one thing that really I feel, the unsafeness of people of color in terms of like mothers and fathers, and thinking of their children now being unsafe in the streets. And what I want people to understand is you don't need to feel that way. Because if you understand the principle, the laws of life, that won't occur. That won't occur as long as you're in your alignment. And so we have to remember that it is always a co-creative dance. Most people are not feeling safe. Most of us feel like victims, that life just happens to us. That's the only way something like this could happen in the case of a Travyon. You have to feel unsafe. You actually have to feel like anything could happen to you. We really don't know of the emotional state of Travyon. And I don't mean to say that in the sense that he was so out of it, or, he was wacky or anything like that. But what I'm saying is the average person, the person who is smiling in your face and actually feels pretty good about life, still may not be in a place of creating intentionally. Most of us are not creating intentionally. We haven't been taught to create intentionally. And if you don't understand your power to create intentionally, then you subjugate yourself to the roar of life, the bark of life. And that's what many people, I would say the masses of people, experience. And so let this more so be a wake-up call to understand your power as someone who can manifest at will. You're knowing that you can impart this message to your children, that they are creators, that they have the power to bring peace into their life, bring knowledge into their life. So instead, relate to the children that they have this undeniable essence within their being to be who they want to be, to live the life they want to live. And when you carry that vibration at a very strong, consistent rate, I promise you, the likelihood of any harm coming to you in such a dramatic fashion, unless it's something you want, will not happen. Now, those who are not hearing the message properly may then think I'm saying, well, are you saying Travyon deserved this, or he brought this to himself? What I'm saying is most people just live on default. Most people just live on whatever happens to them. And that's why so many things happen to us, because we're not in a state of intentional creation. So what I'm saying is, let this be a call to all of us, adult and child, because the adults are who are going to relate to the child, that you are this intentional force, that you have the power to live a life the way you see it. And as you do that and vibrate that, That's what you relay on to the child, whatever color he or she may be. And then just by holding that, you shift the landscape. You shift the manifested. That's how it works. That is the inside becoming out versus the pushing against and the anger and the needing for some form of justice. That's the true justice. Become an intentional creator and watch things shift dramatically. Peace.